Hey, welcome back to Mobility Project. We're working on soft tissue this week, and we're going to work on the soft tissues of your lower leg. And I'll tell you what, there's a couple big kind of ideas that I'm thinking about. One is a lot of athletes, the weather's nice, we see a lot of running. I want to make sure that I'm kind of taking care of some of the problems with the lower feet. This is kind of a global prescription for the runners, for people, hey man, my feet are hurting, I'm having Achilles pain. One of the things that shows up a lot is that when athletes squat with their foot out, one of the things where we even see our dancers, with the foot turns out, we tend to see this posterior tibialis get very, very tight. And we also tend to see the peroneals get very tight. This is a common pattern that we see in Olympic lifters, for example, having to receive and end up in a bottom position. If I'm not in a perfect position, that knee comes in, you'll see this stabilization pattern, largely because that posterior tib wraps around behind the ankle and is responsible for giving me that arch. So if I collapse that, man, the body's desperately trying to hold on by making this tissue short on the outside. It's working on a stabilization to keep it from breaking down. So we see this pattern a lot. It's one of the reasons it's interesting is that when you'll see athletes standing around, one of the reasons that they're trying to get the foot up, as we've talked about before, is to try to get the foot into neutral, but also they're stretching out those peroneals. And oh, by the way, turning the foot out creates a little extra rotation at the foot, which also makes the hip a little bit more stable. So it's easier if I'm in a collapsed position to turn the foot out because that brings my hip through. So here's what we're going to do tonight. The kids at Trigger Point Therapies, TV Therapy, great. They have their roller and their foam, and you cross your leg, and it's good. I like a little bit more, and if I don't have a partner, I'm going to throw that foot up on there. I can even cross. Here's the deal tonight. We're going to really work on kind of ungluing those posterior tissues. You got it to set a clock. I'm going to just do this for as long as I have interest in it, and I'm going to go really slow across. The mistake is that I go really fast, so this kind of notion of going really slow, thinking about kind of building a pressure wave in front of this. When I find a tricky spot, I can hang out there, and I can start to do my active tack and stretch. Point that toe, work that range through full range of motion, hit all of the corners. Now, it's common that you're going to find some areas that are tight, some areas that aren't tight at all. Don't worry about it. I personally believe that U.S. Americans don't stretch their calves because they don't have calves. But it turns out that if you grab your weight vest or a bag of dog food, now you have the worst, absolute best way to try to tack into those tissues. Now I've sort of gone into a Zen state. This is for real. Before, sometimes it's pretend MobilityWOD. This is real MobilityWOD right now. This is happening right now. I'm going to vomit on camera. And what's good about this is that this really allows me to spend some time and clear a range in tissue. The thing about the soft tissue work of the lower legs is to make it qualitative. It's got to be about getting something done and changing the tissues instead of kind of abject, I'm just going to go for as much range as I can. So, man, think about our plan here. If I've got ankle pain or Achilles pain, man, work on those tissues directly upstream, feed slack to that system. If I have plantar fasciitis pain, pain on the bottom of my foot, let's go ahead and make sure that we're working upstream, downstream. So that's homework number one. See if you can set up some kind of concoction like this. Even a rolling pin with your own weight on there, pretty powerful. Homework number two, let's get that ball in the bottom of the foot, specifically right in here. So you're going to see two spots on the bottom of the foot I want to focus on. Kind of right in the insertion, this is where this posterior tib comes around and kind of creates a surface here and support. And then right on the other side, this is right where your peroneals come down. They hook right behind this little bump on your spot, on your outside of your foot, and they also create stiffness in the bottom of the foot. So we're going to tack those things here and on the outside, and then we're going to work on crossing that leg. Again, double hand in, start all the way up. When we see that there's a lot of torsion in the leg in our athletes, where the femur is going straight and the leg is unlocked in this torsion position, this posterior tib can be part of the mechanism for why they have medial knee pain. So it's an easy thing to do. Oh, someone's got some medial knee pain. What's right below that knee? Oh, hey, right here. So I can start high, catch some of that, high calf, work my way down. As soon as I find a tender spot, start moving that foot around, see if we can't create some space in there, even oscillate back and forth. Work that all the way down. You can do the same thing behind the leg, and then in this position I can sneak up in there. I can turn the foot in and out, try to capture some of those tight areas behind the knee, that high gastroc as it comes in. Excellent. Then finally, I'm just going to go ahead and hit the peroneals on the outside here. So I'm just going to roll around and just see if I can't find some spots that don't agree with me and just hunt. And right now I'm not finding anything. I got a lot of pressure on this ball. I'm kind of working across, trying to unglue that thing. Think about how much work our calves do, how thick they get, and if you're a little bit dehydrated, those tissues get sticky. So those are the ideas, some simple tissue recovery. Go after it and see how much better and less stiff you feel tomorrow morning. This is why they invented TVs and red wine. We'll see you tomorrow.